G'day, welcome back to the show, 4350 TV and Andrew Mason. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you.
Welcome to the show, and thanks for inviting me into the home here of Mrs. Dorricott. And we're going to talk today about Bob, or Robert Dorricott, RJ Dorricott, is that right?
RJ, Robert John Dorricott.
Robert John Dorricott, who set about in his life in Toowoomba with a Super 8 movie camera.
That's right.
And a lot of you people may not remember, but back in the 80s it was Super 8 and VHS, it was all cassette. But Bob just toured around with his camera and got some incredible footage. And tell us the story how you met him and what came about.
Well, the book, obviously Bob's story starts a long time before I came on the scene. Yep. He was born in 1927 out in a place called Evergreen near Colby, northwest of Toowoomba. So he grew up there for the first part of his life and went to a little one room school there. Mm-hmm. And he used to go off and watch the pictures with the travelling picture show. He'd walk 2 miles into town to go and watch the pictures. And he always said he spent more time watching the projector than he did watching what was up on the screen. Right. So he got fascinated with movies. He came to Toowoomba when he was about 12 or 14 and he got a job as a fitter and turner, and that was his trade. And he saved up his money and bought his first movie camera, which was probably a standard 8 camera in those days. Yep. And started making movies. And in the early 50s, about 1952, he got together with a bunch of other local enthusiasts and they started the Darling Downs Amateur Cine Society in Newtown Hall. And as you said, this is the days before television. So TV started in Australia in 1956 in Melbourne, so no TV in Toowoomba. And movie making was quite popular. And they started making movies and screening them publicly, and people would come along and watch their movies. And they had a big festival every year where they'd have a competition of all the best films they'd made and things like that. And they started making some documentaries too. So when the Queen visited in, I think it was 1954 or somewhere around there, they filmed that, the Royal Welcome, they called that. They made a big feature film about 100 years of European settlement on the Darling Downs, and they shot that on 16mm. So they made some significant films which screened in City Hall. I know that one, they said they screened that for a week and they had a full house every night. Wow, So it was really a very community sort of, engaged the whole community.
And that Newtown Hall, that's in Rome Street, isn't it? Was that the picture theatre?
No, I think Newtown Hall's actually in the Newtown Park where the State Rose Garden is.
Newtown Hall is in Rome Street.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
That's right. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, because I've done quite a few discos there, and I do remember it was an old picture theatre.
That's right, and I remember going to some bands and dances there when I was a teenager. Yeah.
So there you go. And how have you come about to? You emailed me and you said you had some YouTube links, and I've shared a couple of those on 4350 TV, and there's quite a lot, and we'll start sharing those through the month of September, especially the Carnival Flowers one. We'll get that in early September and replay that one again. But how have you come about getting this footage and loading onto YouTube?
Well, it came about because even though I sort of knew of Bob, I guess we sort of became good friends when we were both involved with the Empire Theatre. And I worked there, and Bob and Maureen were volunteers there with the friends. And Bob said to me, "Oh, will you come and do some voiceovers for me for some of his documentaries and things, and also got me to act in some of his little sort of comedy films and things like that." Right. And I was saying to him, "Bob, you should do something with all these films." He'd made over 200 films, and he's won awards for a lot of these films, international awards, Melbourne International Film Festival Awards, the Sydney Film Festival Awards, things like this. So I said, "You need to do something with these." "Oh, yes, one day," sort of thing. One day, And we copied a few of them. We started copying them onto DVD, so we could have a copy on DVD. But we didn't get too far. And then I kept saying they should be in an archive, But anyway, sadly, last year, September 2015, Bob passed away. And, not long after the funeral, Maureen said to me, "Well, you better come and take all these films away because Bob left them to you."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I went, "Oh, okay." So now I'm trying to share them with people by making copies and putting them up on YouTube. But, I mean, I would say in a way that they really don't do justice to the film because they don't look quite as spectacular as they do when you watch them on the big screen.
Yeah, I could imagine, yeah.
But at least you can watch them.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's great.
And hopefully they will also, the originals will be preserved in an archive. So
Okay.
I'm chasing that up as well.
Yeah, well, I'd love to help you do some work on that. And we were talking about the library above the old White Horse Hotel in Ruthven Street. So, and Maureen's here with us. She's just on the sidelines there, just guiding and directing us tonight.
She's shy.
Yeah, so she's thrown in when we go off track. But excellent. So so far I've had on the carnival flowers, and I'll repeat that one for you as well. There's the totem pole, which a friend of mine saw and said, you better have a look at this one, Darryl. I've watched that one. Walsh's Engineering. I mean,
well, Bob worked at Walsh's.
He worked there,
for quite a while. And he also worked at Western Transport when, they manufactured trucks here in Toowoomba.
I know.
And he made these fantastic documentaries, and I'm not sure that I have them because I think Walsh's and Western Engineering have the originals of those. But I have seen video copies of them over the years of these great documentaries about the manufacturing industries that we had here in Toowoomba. And they were significant industries. So that was another good thing that he was able to capture.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? I mean, the Toowoomba foundry now is going to be demolished for a Bunnings store, and my uncle worked there all his life. From the time he was 14 up until he retired at 60 something. So, but that's progress. That's change in Toowoomba. There was another one I was thinking about, the bicentennial 1988 when Expo was on.
Yes.
The Bird Water Habitat Park.
The Water Habitat, which is over there, sort of at Centenary Heights, and I remember it opening. But it's wonderful to watch the film.
The vision was amazing.
And see the construction of the Waterbird Habitat, which Bob volunteered a little bit of time there, labour, helping out with the construction, but also filmed all that construction work. So that's a great historical record for the local people. Also, he filmed the moving of the Mothers Memorial, which was very controversial at the time because it used to be down there near Bailey's on the corner of Margaret and Ruthven Street, and people said it shouldn't be moved, it should be there forever. And there was a very strong sentiment in the community about that. But Bob has captured that, the movement of that, so that was really significant too. And
I loved it that he caught the mayor face to face with the Toowoomba people who were really angry.
That's right.
And Bergie was just right there in front of him.
That's right. And I think most of us now feel, that it probably was a very good decision because in the long run that park has turned out to be a spectacular place for Anzac Day ceremonies. But at the time, it was a significantly divisive decision, I suppose.
We caught some good footage on that one.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other things have we got? Did he have on there?
Well, I was going to say he loved the Carnival of Flowers, and he's filmed every carnival since 1950.
Right. Have you got all that? How far back have you got so far?
I've got some of them, but they were the City Society did make. I think it was a 40th anniversary of the Carnival little feature film. Where a lot of members contributed footage, and Bob edited it all together along with other people in the society, and put it all together into a 40. I think it was 40 years, might be 50 years. 40 years of the carnival.
40 years, I think it was.
40 years of the carnival. So that's significant. But here's another bit of trivia. He actually made a crown for the Carnival Queen,
right?
Because he thought that the one that they had in the early 50s wasn't, fancy enough. So as a fitter and turner, he took it upon himself, and I don't think anyone asked him, I think he just decided to do it, to make this crown, and it's quite a spectacular thing. And they wore that until about 1966, and it had all this sort of jewellery all over it, costume jewellery, but there was a big ruby on the front that came from his mother's, a ring that his mother had that he put on there.
Okay.
And it was actually made of welded steel, very fine steel, but welded. And I said to him, how did you manage to weld that? It's so light. Whenever I've tried to weld anything, I'm hopeless, Oh, he said, little rods, and so he was very skilled and was able to do very detailed work. So that crown, I think, is now in the museum, and that was another thing. That he's the sort of person that if he saw something he thought, could contribute to the community, he just got in and did it.
That's great.
And he had wonderful skills as a fitter and turner because some of his films were time-lapse photography. He did absolutely amazing time-lapse photography, but partly because he built special equipment himself to enable him to do this. So little rigs and jibs that would hold cameras and hold things in place. He had a lot of photos of flowers and things like that opening and blooming. But he built all this equipment himself so that he was able to extend his filmmaking hobby. So, remarkable man in many ways.
Well, I mean, we've got digital now, which is
Yeah.
we can just record on these things and speed them up.
That's
and
right.
This is all on film.
That's right.
To do time lapse on 8mm film.
Yeah, so taking one photo at a time over a period, like you might take one photo every minute, say, for days, you know, to then condense it down to, you know,
Amazing.
a
It's
few
taking
minutes.
a week for a flower to open up.
A week for
A
a
week.
flower to open.
There you go. 1 week, going there, clicking
Yeah.
photographs to show it opening. Where nowadays we just leave a camera there and walk away.
That's right, and the computer does it.
And the computer does it. Amazing.
He was a very patient fellow because he also made a lot of documentaries about birds. As I said, he loved nature, and he would go out, you know, camping and set up cameras with remote control sort of controls to start and stop them, and film birds nesting and things like that. He won quite a few awards for a film called Master Builders, and that was, you know, about birds building their nests. And he also combined it with footage that he had of various local buildings in Toowoomba being buildings, comparing the building of human buildings to birds. But yeah, quite remarkable. And he just he really put a lot of time and effort into what he did.
Well, look, I think, mate, it's a credit to Bob, and some of the footage is amazing. And we'll share that, as I say, over the month of September, and you can go on to YouTube at any time. So the YouTube, what have you called the YouTube channel as such?
It's just actually TOOWOOMBA Archive.
TOOWOOMBA Archive?
Yeah, because it's,
that's fine.
you know, old films basically.
So so if you're a bit impatient, go to YouTube, TOOWOOMBA Archives and RJ Dorricott, and you can see the whole range of films there. And even as since we've filmed this, Andrew would have loaded some more up on there. So.
And even if you just Google, you know, Bob Dorricott, filmmaker Toowoomba, or anything like that, you should at least be able to get one of them, and then from one you can always find the others.
YouTube rolls through. Look, mate, I want to thank you for your time today. It's an amazing story. Maureen, thank you, and just absolutely, what a patient man to do this.
Oh, he was a wonderful man. He was really wonderful.
Yeah, and I didn't know he got the awards, and I didn't know that.
You know, just an amazing number of awards, and Maureen was showing me there's quite a collection of trophies and things like this. But yeah, he was highly awarded. And actually, speaking, the Darling Downs Amateur Cine Society that he was one of the founding members of is still going today. But it's called Darling Downs Movie Makers nowadays. But still going. And in the year 2000, they awarded Bob a life membership to that organisation for all his work over the years. And he did actually buy a video camera too. I remember a few years ago he bought a little digital video camera. But he never really got into video.
No. Oh, he hated it.
He said he
really hated
he
it.
hated it.
He really hated it.
He said he always preferred film because he loved it. He could hold it up to the light and he could see the images. And he always gave me lots of reasons why film was better than video.
Of course.
You know,
There you go. Well, look, thanks for your time today, Andrew. Appreciate it. Maureen, thank you. We'll get this rolling out. And as I said, just Google RJ Dorricott if you want to look at those videos. But we'll roll them through the month of September, and we'll catch up with Andrew again later and as he loads some more on. So until next time, thank you,
Daryl.
Thank you, Maureen.
Okay.
If you've got an interesting story, come along, let us know, 4350 TV. Until next time, see you later. Bye. Mate, that's fascinating.